again. And then the next year with maybe a lesser team, but more, I'll say, hardened because of some of the things that we had to go through. Won a Stanley Cup, and the path is never clear. I mean, we could have been out in the first round in 4 games, and we found a way to dig ourselves out. And that's been when I do my research with the other coaches when I was coaching, is that they all talked about when they won the Stanley Cup, I was looking for that magic pill. Every coach that has won said, man, if that team would have scored in that round 1, and we would have been out in first round, and we ended up winning. So there's no clear path. It is the hardest trophy in the world to win, because you've got to go 2 months of total focus, and things go right. And it is by far the hardest trophy to win. And when you win it is why you want to win it again, because it is the Mount Everest of our sport. And anybody who's climbed Mount Everest, they don't just go there once, they seem to go back there again or look for a higher mountain out there. So that's the beauty of trying to win a Stanley Cup. It's so hard, and once you do, you want to do it again.
I agree with everything Barry said about this being a great place, except I wouldn't brag about our weather just right now. Maybe 1 or 2, and then we need to wrap up.
We could take 2 more. We'll go to Russell on the 3rd row on the right.
Russell Venozzi at Main Street, Nashville. Barry, what you just said there about wanting to set up the next GM for success, how does that inform your approach to the trade deadline next month?
Well, right now, these are, we've got some time here till the trade deadline. These are very important games. I mean, we just finished a really important trip, last 3 games. I mean, the guys have been wonderful digging out of a big hole. It was a tough week for the team last week. For instance, guys are on their phones. Most of the wives and families are in hotels or had no heat and stuff like that. And you see the guys that always on the phone trying to get a generator like everybody else hooked up to their house and that. So it's hard when your family's going through that and you're on the road and you're trying to help your family and stay focused. You have to be focused to win in this league. Execution and focus is everything, or you get hurt or you lose. Those are 2 things that are just common when your focus is not there. So we're going to focus on where we are now and focus on my job is quite honestly and transparent. When asked, where are we? And I said, I've got to listen to everything. We're not in the playoffs right now, so I've got to listen to everything. I owe that to both the gentleman next to me and our fan base and anybody who is a fan of the Predators. I have to look at everything, and I'm going to look at it from a now, and I'm going to look at it from a futures. So everything's on the table.
Go to Chris for the final one.
Barry, you talked about why it was time earlier. As someone who has devoted his entire life to hockey, what was it like for you getting yourself in the right mindset to make that decision?
I think, you surround yourself with good people. Sometimes you get defined by what you do, not who you are. For me, I love the game. I also love my family.
Thank you very much, Barry. We appreciate it. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for being here. They've kindly agreed to, we'll do some brief.
There you go. That is today's press conference. Barry Trotz announcing that he will step down and retire as general manager of the Nashville Predators. They will start a search immediately. CAA has been hired to conduct that search, and Trotz will remain general manager until the majority owner said they hope to have somebody in place by the draft. So the original plan was after next season, but Barry will stay on as an advisor until that time. But they will try and have a new general manager in place before the draft this June, and it'll truly be a new era for the Nashville Predators. We will step away, come back, react to that. We want to hear from you. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Full reaction as Barry Trotz announces he will retire as general manager of the Predators. That's all ahead on Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game on this Monday. Barry Trotz announcing he will step down as general manager once a successor is found. He'll be part of a committee that includes the majority owner, Bill Haslam, Michelle Kennedy, Sean Henry, Nick Saban, among others. And CAA has been hired to conduct the search for the next general manager. So our question of the day, presented by Aries Tactical, your safety, your skill, your Aries Tactical. First time shooter, shoot for free. Just tell them that I sent you, Chase McCabe. Check them out at ariestactical.com. It's a very simple one, Joe.
Yeah.
Sorry. Throw that mic around.
Right. It's about Barry Trotz leaving. I mean, is this a good time? I just don't understand it. You know, he talked about why he's leaving right now, man, but it's just you leave in the middle of the season like this and you've got some things that are unfinished that you wanted to finish. It's just very odd timing,
Yeah, it is.
right?
And
And that's I don't know anything more than that.
I don't either. I part of our partnership. I mean, I was kind of given a heads up this morning of, hey, here's what's going to go down today, and then Elliot broke news and all that stuff. But I don't know anything that you all don't know. I will say, and giving my opinion, that I think we can all agree that Barry has probably, and he has said this either on our air or publicly, that this was more of a difficult transition than I think he may have thought it was going to be, going from a coach to a general manager.
It is, but it's just I mean, that's a guy who is just he's hockey, right?
Yeah.
And just now when it's incomplete what you've done, what you're trying to get done, it's just he said he's healthy. He said he just needs to step away. I all that is true because Barry Trotz is a good man. It's just the timing is just leaves a lot of
Yeah.
question.
But I think maybe he's looking at this of, you know what, it might be time for them to go outside the family.
100%.
And bring fresh eyes and fresh ideas into this organization because, here's the facts. David Poyle is a great person, deserves every accolade that he's gotten, deserves to have his initials hanging in Bridgestone Arena and be honored in every way possible.
Right.
Barry Trotz, same thing. Coach for 16 years, got this thing from expansion to playoff team. He won a Stanley Cup with another team, but I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. Deserves every accolade he's gotten and is going to get. But the bottom line is this team hasn't won a Stanley Cup. They've appeared in one Stanley Cup final in their almost 30-year history. Twice, I think, in their almost 30-year history. So I get it from the fan base standpoint of these guys are great. We love them as people. It's time to go and win the whole damn thing. And I wonder if Barry is looking at it from that aspect of, you know what, they're right. And I feel, I'm, not speaking for him, but speaking as him,
Right.
that maybe he feels like, hey, I've gotten it as far as I can get it. Let's go ahead and move up this timeline, bring somebody else in here. I've set the table. I'm going to continue to set the table through the end of this year, and then let's see what happens. And
Why not?
I mean, I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know.
The season. I just don't. And look, now what's going to question the players?
I
Right?
do think, let me go back to something. There is truth, because it happened today, of, well, we started talking about this stuff's going to get out. And that's just the way it is, because when you know this, like, you got one person that says something to one other person, and all of a sudden, Elliot Friedman's going to find out about it.
Right. People
And
talk.
guess what?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how this went down. Elliot's going to join DVD today at 3:20, and he may give more detail. My guess is because of the respect that Elliot has for Sean Henry, Barry Trotz, everybody involved in this organization, he probably made a phone call and said, hey, just so you know, I'm aware of this, and I got to run with this. That's kind of how it goes. Sometimes. Again, speculating, have no idea.
There's a mole at Bridgestone.
But there's a mole everywhere. That's the thing.
Yeah, right about that.
There is a mole everywhere. People talk. And so I think to their point, they said in the press conference of, look, this stuff's going to get out. Let's be transparent ahead of it, which is fine. So now it's out. He's the GM through the end of the season, it sounds like, is the plan. I mean, you're not going to make that change now. You can start the process, and then you kind of go from there. But like I was saying earlier, I do hope that, and I feel like I got that from Haslam, of go outside the family. Like, I've already heard, well, Tom Fitzgerald may get fired in New Jersey and then he gets the job in Nashville. I like Fitzgerald. He doesn't need to be the GM in Nashville. Let's not go back to the family. It's okay to go outside the family, just like other organizations have done. Like Bill Polian did a great job with the Colts, right? He and his son, and they built that dynasty with Peyton and everything. Well, when Polian stepped down, Chris Polian didn't take over as GM. They moved on. So, I love Brian Poyle. I think a lot of Brian Poyle. I hope Brian Poyle becomes a general manager one day. He doesn't need to be here. Go outside the family. It's okay. And I think they get that. But, and look, Haslam needs to look at this, and I think this is a good thing. Haslam needs to look at this through the eyes of, the Predators are great, and these people are great and deserve every accolade they're going to get, but I'm investing a lot of my money in this team now. I want to go win a championship. In some ways, he doesn't have to have the loyalty that maybe some other people have had.
Who did he add to the search committee?
I think some guy named Saban.
Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. On the search, and they're going to
Can't
say
hurt.
they're going to say he had nothing to do with all that. Maybe he looked at it and said, "Look, you're running in neutral.
Yeah.
You've been in neutral for a long time, and you ain't getting out of neutral. So to get out of neutral, you need to go backwards a little bit, make some changes, and go forward." But Nick Saban and CAA,
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't
Is that that's Jimmy Sexton, right?
That's I think he sold to them, and
Yeah.
big deal. I mean, this isn't a couple of buddies calling your buddies saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're going to hire this or that." But you make all good points, man.
Well,
All
look,
good points.
take it. Here's the other thing too. I'm not trying to be negative. I think that it's been a fun ride, and I want to see. I run into David Poyle every now and then. Love seeing David Poyle. Want to continue to see that. Same with Barry Trotz. But I think we all recognize that it's time for this team to be in the conversation every year. It's time for Nashville sports to be in the conversation every year. I'm sick and tired of coming on these airwaves and having to complain and moan about, firing this guy or firing that guy. The owner of the Titans didn't know what the hell she's doing. And, they lost this game. The Predators are going to just sneak into the playoffs, but then they're going to get knocked out in 5 games by Colorado. Like, I am tired of that, as I know everybody else is. So this to me, and I look at this year as, if you get blown away for an offer by Ryan O'Reilly, then take it. If you think it's going to make the team better. If you don't, then you don't. And if you make the playoffs this year, okay. But, and I can't always subscribe to the tear it all down to the studs and rebuild, because I've seen it work and I've seen it not work. But I do want this new GM to come in and not be afraid to take some swings that might go against what has happened the last 20 years.
You're good. I mean, look, sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to go forward. And right now, this is be a very uncomfortable time for the Nashville Predators. At the same time, it could be looking forward with progress. You make all very good points about this franchise. And you're right. In 30 years, one Stanley Cup. One
Right.
Stanley Cup.
Right.
And don't give me an excuse. The first 3 or 4 years, your expansion team. I know the rules have changed now because Vegas made it to the Cup, but it's different.
But they not only did they make it to the Cup final, they've now won it.
Yeah. So now you get 30 years. And now you could look and say, well, we're better than Columbus or we're better than Buffalo. Is that what you want to
That's
compare
fine.
yourself to?
And again,
Do you want to compare yourself to them?
No,
nobody
no.
does.
And again, I'm not going to sit here and yell and scream and say they've done it wrong for 30 years. They haven't. But they haven't won a championship. And nobody in Nashville has won a championship. So let the Predators be the one to change that mold. Because we're sitting here right now, whether it's false hope or not, I think a majority of people are excited about the Titans and feel like
Yeah.
for the first time in 5 years, maybe they might be going in the right direction.
Yep.
They're not a rudderless ship anymore. And I've never thought about that about the Predators. The Predators have always done things with class, and they've always done things, in a right way. But I think this is now a great opportunity to hit the reset button, bring in fresh eyes, and we'll go through some candidates and build this thing into a championship contender and not just getting to the dance. That's what I want. I want them to be a true championship contender. And Barry was asked, "How close do you think they are to winning the Stanley Cup?" And I think the answer is you're not. You're closer, but you're not there yet. Right. So
Yeah.
that's where they are. 615-737-1025. We will get to your calls and texts. We're going to get back on time here. 1 o'clock hour will be full reaction to this as well. Dustin, we'll get to you coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game on this Monday. Barry Trotz is stepping down as general manager once his successor is found. He's going to retire, as he announced just a little bit ago. That news broke this morning by Elliot Friedman. We're taking your reaction to it. Dustin wants to weigh in on our phone lines. Dustin, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys. So before we found out all the news and then the press conference, I assumed that the message between the two was growing further apart, and they didn't like the team was. But now, it's still weird to me, but I kind of get it. And family comes before everything. And when the Predators and the Titans hire someone, being in Nashville, I feel that they look for someone that's a family first guy, and it's going to carry over into the team as a family or team. When you get that, there's a dangerous game you play that at some point that person realizes their team family is coming way before their actual family, and I'll respect that before anything else that a coach or GM that they can provide. So I kind of understand the family thing. He's not a spring chicken. And from everything I've researched online, he keeps his family life very private, which tells me even more. Very, he decided that, I feel like he probably had it in his head at least 5 years with the Predators trying to get them a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And it's changed for him, and while hockey is his life, I'd say his family means way more than hockey, and he's ready to transition, and that's how I built my life, and I respect the hell out of that, and he decided to tell them early so that they could look while he's still his GM, and they cannot just go out and look. They can't keep that quiet. Things were fixing to start taking a turn here at the trade deadline. They're probably going to make moves that would have left the fans and sports media with a lot of questions and being very transparent. And I think they're telling you exactly how it's going. Barry wants to spend time with his family.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Dustin, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think that is true, because that was one of the last things he said, that he loves. I love the game. I also love my family, and he got emotional during that. And so, look, that's and we had a text that 0247, Joe, you talk about mental health every day. At 63 years old and 40 years in the business, maybe he needs a break and time to spend with his family. And you know what? If that's the case, more power to him.
Good. I'd rather you focus on your family and
He's
yourself
got grandkids now.
than a hockey team.
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
all day long. So if that's the case, more power to him. Look, I love Barry Trotz. He's treated me from day one with great. I mean, it's great, and I would love nothing more to see him on the lead parade if they win a Stanley Cup. But something's maybe it's not going to happen in his time, and I
Yeah.
get that. But that does not undervalue how fantastic he's been to this city, this hockey team, and everything else going on with it. If it's time, it's time. And you know who always wins? Time always wins.
Indeed. We will have more reaction to this coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Barry Trotz announcing he's going to retire as general manager of the Nashville Predators. More on that in hour number 2. Chase Big Joe, 105 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Show, 102.5 The Game here on this Monday. Barry Trotz announcing that he informed Bill Haslam that he was ready to step away as general manager, and the plan was after the 26-27 season, which is when his contract is up, but they will begin a search for a new general manager immediately. And once that person is found, Barry Trotz will become an advisor and step down as general manager. So your reaction to all of that at 615-737-1025. And look, I get that it's kind of a mixed bag. And I feel like I can tell
mixed bag of what?
of the reaction to Barry Trotz.
Okay.
That some are negative, some are positive. And you got to sift through that. I can tell the fans that have kind of been day one fans and know the whole story, and then I can tell the ones that are newer and don't know the whole story, and that's fine. I get the argument too of this team hadn't won. I mean, bottom line, they haven't won a championship. They've been to the Stanley Cup final one time. They've been to the conference final one time. They've been to, what I meant was getting past the second round, but which they have done once. So they have, because they've only made the conference final one time.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
They finally, Barry got them past the first round against Anaheim in 2011. They got past the next year against Detroit. Missed the playoffs completely 2 years. He's gone. Laviolette comes in, lose to Chicago in the first round his first year. His second year, they have 2 Game 7 series and losing Game 7 to San Jose in the second round. Next year, go to the Cup final. Next year, lose to Winnipeg in the second round in 7 games.
Right. You're right.
Next year, lose to Dallas.
Yep.
So, and then swept by Colorado. The only time Hines got him there. I guess you can count the COVID year in the bubble. And then lost 2 years ago when they got into the Vancouver. That's right. Good memory.
So,
So look, the bottom line is, and I think family has a lot to do with this. He wants to spend more time with his family. I get that. I do think that he's made some progress with rebuilding the cupboard and refilling the cupboard. But, the brass tacks on this is there's not a true number one center anywhere in this organization. Nowhere. They don't have them. Doesn't exist. And they don't grow on trees. But they got to figure that out. This organization was known for basically, manufacturing defensemen and goaltenders, and they haven't really done that. I think there's a couple of defensemen that are intriguing in the organization, but are they Weber or Yosti or Suter or guys like that? We don't know. Goaltender, I mean, they traded their number one goaltending prospect, which I think ultimately is going to still be the right move, because I don't think he was as good as maybe people thought he was. And definitely not patient. We'll see. Saros, I think, is good, but they haven't found who's the next Pecorine. So I mean, there's still a lot of that, and the question, and Adam asked the right question to Haslam of his comfortability in going for a full rebuild, and the answer that I kind of took away from that was he's not really comfortable with it. Will the new GM? But the new GM is going to come in and have his philosophy. Does the new GM come in and go, look, we need to get rid of this, this, and this, and this, and start from the beginning? The other thing is you're already paying 2 guys not to be here. They're still paying Kyle Turris. And I think we got a few years on that for his buyout.
Lord.
They're still paying Matt Duchene. And then there's some salary retained from Ekholm and Sissons that isn't a whole lot. But, I mean, you still have that.
Right.
Are you going to do the same with Marchessault? Because, I mean, I think if there's a candidate for that, it's Marchessault. That, I know he's played a little bit better since coming back from injury, but that hasn't really worked.
Right.
In the long run. So, I'll be curious on that. I know a few people have kind of said, was it a Freudian slip of Haslam talking about, finding the right coach and finding a new coach, and he meant to say general manager. I'm not going to read too much into that yet, but look, everybody has my guy syndrome. And so the new GM might come in and look at Burnett and be like, hey, that's not my guy. I want to bring in my guy.
Right.
And if they don't
all
make
good
the look,
points.
and if they don't make the playoffs this year, then okay, that's a fair conversation to sit down and have.
Right.
But so there's a lot more, and I know Sean made the comment of this is the last time we're going to talk about this until we hire somebody.
No, we're not.
That's not the case.
Right. Sorry,
But-
Sean.
Sorry, Sean. But I think this is a really important step now in the history of this team because, as I said in the previous hour, you need to go outside the family, find someone that has no or very little connection to the Predators, and bring in new ideas. I asked our good friend Greg Wyshynski, I was like, hey, give me some names that you think could be, at least be discussed. Mike Gillis, the former general manager in Vancouver. Mark Bergvine, the former Montreal GM. Ryan Martin, he's the Rangers associate GM. Lawrence Gilman, the Columbus Blue Jackets VP of Hockey Operations. Sean Horkoff, he's Detroit's assistant GM. And also says real off the board choice, Kate Madigan, assistant GM for the New Jersey Devils. But again, there's Tom Fitzgerald's a GM there. That's still it's not the family, but it's close to the family.
Is that a female?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
And then he said, of course, everybody's going to watch what the Devils do if they fire Fitzgerald, just Fitzgerald, but nothing against Fitzy. No.
Fitzy.
No. He also throws out Kevin Adams, who's the former GM of the Buffalo Sabres, who gets a lot of crap, but he kind of put this roster together that all of a sudden Buffalo is looking pretty good. So there's a consideration there. So those are just some names. I was not expecting to have the who's going to be the next GM for the Predators conversation.
Right.
So, I think that's going to take some time and some research. But I think get somebody with, new ideas. If you find a former GM with experience, okay, I'm open to that. I'm certainly open to that. But I think, just having a fresh set of eyes on what to do here is going to be a good thing. And I think Barry looks at it that way. I think Sean looks at it that way. I think Haslam looks at it that way. So it's a good one. Ricky throws out Brandon Shanahan. That's an old school hockey guy that has experience in this. Maybe. So there's just some thoughts there. 615-737-1025.
Yeah, this is all look at the gym, at my phone. Barry Trotz is retiring, stepping down. I mean, nobody, right? At least I didn't. I mean, he's a hockey guy, right? I mean, that's my thing. I'm kind of still stunned at the news that he's stepping down. I know he's going to be around there, but I just why not until April or May? I don't. Again,
Sure.
It's not me.
And look, everybody's going to speculate on did Haslam force this move or, what is this truly his idea? And the truth of the matter is we'll never really know. When Barry got emotional mentioning his family, that stood out to me because that made me think okay, this is a guy that really wants to, he recognizes how much he's sacrificed from that standpoint to have a Hall of Fame hockey career. So you look at it now of the realistic point of view, they're probably not winning the cup in the next 3 years.
Oh man,
They could, but they're probably not. And then, so do you want to put in that amount of time plus the additional amount of time that it's going to take to get you to that, which at that point, you're looking at putting him at 67, 68, something like that. He's got grandkids. And he's probably thinking you know what? I need to go be grandpa.
I don't know.
And if that's the answer, zero argument from me.
You are 100% correct on that. And again, for us there who see this broadly from, outside the view of inside the National Predators bubble, which I'm not part of, it just the timing just seems so odd to me. And that's it. I guess that's where my curiosity lays. It's like, why now?
Yeah.
Why not? So I just don't understand it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get to right now is that, and look, you gotta get somebody in here, right? So April or May, when's the draft? Late June? So you
Yeah.
gotta get that going. NFL, you get a new GM usually in January. You got a couple of months to get things going in there. And
I would say they would, you know, if there's somebody with a team, it's kind of just like what we went through with the Titans. If there's somebody with an organization that is set up for a long run, then, you're probably not gonna have them until, whenever they're eliminated from the playoffs. But if there's somebody that's, on the street right now and is not employed, then you could hypothetically end the season in April if we don't make the playoffs and have them in place by mid-May, early June.
I got a question that I'd like for you to answer after the break.
Okay.
Right? Andrew Burnett said he didn't find out till 8:30 this morning, which means the team didn't find out till 8:30 this morning.
Correct.
How does this affect the team tonight? Don't answer.
Okay. I'll
Tonight.
answer that coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's Chasing Big Joe on this Monday, 1025 The Game.
All right, guys. Big Joe here. Look, we spend a lot of time on our show talking about mental health. And guys, we tell you all the time how better our world is because you are here. We're not going to stop resting telling you about that because that is true and how much we love you. I understand sometimes you go through some certain things that aren't fun. That's why we're here for you. We've also partnered with Unity Psychiatric Care, just a wonderful place right here in Middle Tennessee for you to get well, and it works. Just go to GameNashville.com. Click on the Chase and Big Joe show, and there you'll see a link to Unity Psychiatric Care. So many have reached out to us. Now we have a partner that cares about you. And listen, you don't have to go through any of this alone. It's private, it's confidential, and they offer telehealth. And yes, they're based right here in Middle Tennessee for you to get well. Now, listen, this is also important. If you have a loved one who needs to talk and you are worried about them, some kind of change in their behavior or something going on, you could be that person that changes their world. Just go to GameNashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe show, and you'll see all the information you need for Unity Psychiatric Care. Listen, help is just around the corner. Going to therapy changed my life, and I need you to go too if you're struggling right now. And listen, you don't have to go through any of this alone.
Barry, I heard you say why you're not retiring. Can you tell us why you are stepping away at this point?
For me, the number one thing is I think you get to a point in life, a life decision that you owe time. The great thing about this game, it is you're all in. You're all in, and you have to be if you're going to be successful. And it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy, and it also takes away a lot of things from your personal life, your family, your wife, your children, grandkids, you name it. And for me, it came really clear that they deserve my time.
That was Barry Trotz on why he's deciding to retire as general manager of the Nashville Predators. And look, I think it's not a better reason than that. Family first.
You are correct about that. All right, so word gets out that your GM's retiring, and then you got a game tonight. And just don't tell me that this doesn't affect the psyche of your hockey team. It does. You know, when Robinson left the Titans on that Tuesday,
He didn't leave. He got fired.
Sorry. Wow. He got fired. And we talked to guys on the team. Nobody saw that coming. And that was the talk of the locker room the entire week. Then they got their asses kicked and didn't win a single game the rest of the year. So that's my only looking at this. Like, all right, I saw what happened to the Titans. I mean, the Preds, they play tonight, they got tomorrow, and then they got a month off, basically. How does it affect the team tonight?
It's a good question. And that's why I think the timing, everybody's kind of questioning the timing. Now, again, I think maybe some timelines got moved around because it got out, but I think this is a professional group and a veteran group that it's not that much of a distraction for them. Jill asked that question, in broader terms about the playoff run. If anything, I could see Brunette using this as like, hey, let's go out there and, show everybody why he's a good GM. So, you can have a sense of pride in that of like, hey, he's the reason I'm here. He brought me here.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys can say that, or he kept me here. So, if it's a coaching move, that's one thing. But I think general manager wise, I mean, it's something that the captain had to talk about this morning and guys were asked about. But I think once game time happens, they'll be all right.
You hope so. I think it'll carry over. I mean, that's all the questions.
Maybe they'll give him a better first period because
Right.
I don't like our first.
So think about it
periods.
now. You go to practice or meetings, whatever, then you get in your car and everybody across the league is texting you.
Yeah.
Every player, hey, what's going on? What's going on? You got to put that aside starting about 5:30 this afternoon when you're making your way back to Bridgestone. It's, again, just the time. I don't know. Maybe it's just the old reporter in me, the curiosity of timing of everything, right? And then he said he's well. Nothing's wrong with him. It was time, right? And so I believe that. But then there's part of you like, why now? And that's the question we're going to keep asking. Why now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's a fair question.
Because it's a hockey dude. I mean, he doesn't, I hate to use the word that he's not quitting. He sees things through, right? I mean, maybe that's what he's doing now to do this, but it's his whole life. He's been on that ice rink his entire life, and now to step away from it, man, it's something else. But I do agree. We agree on this. Get out of the family.
Yep.
And I think Nick Saban, part of this, although it was slow, it was mentioned like quickly and softly, I think he's going to have a lot to say about this.
Well, and he, as he said at the press conference, I don't know blank about hockey, but he knows how to build winning culture and a winning team. So that's not nothing.
Correct.
I think this is important too, to play this. This was Governor Haslam when asked, if he influenced this decision or, there was a difference in opinion on things.
Thank you. Adam Bingen, 102.5 The Game.
Thanks for
This
mentioning
question
102.5.
is
Adam.
for Governor Haslam and Sean. I know you touched on it a bit in your opening statement, but I just want to clarify. There was not a difference of opinion between Barry and the two of you on which direction to take this franchise that led to this decision being moved up to now?
Yeah, absolutely not. And thank you for asking. I meant to say that more clearly. Not only was there not a difference of opinion, this has people said, well, is this a reflection of something that's happening on the ice? Neither are true. This is about Barry making a life decision and then us together. And we've been talking about this for 30 days, talking about, well, what's the best way to do it so we get the best possible result. I want to be as clear as I can. This has nothing to do with any disagreement with Barry or with a reflection of, where we are or are not as a team.
That was Bill Haslam. And, good question by Adam. And I'm glad that, Governor Haslam was able to clear that up of like, look, this is we're happy with Barry. This is just, he's made a personal decision.
Yeah. I mean,
I believe it. I mean, whether, there's going to be some people that don't, because I think there's some people that just everything is negative and that's just how they roll.
Right.
But I almost made a joke.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Hold back.
Trying to be better. But I actually do believe him. So I believe him that, now maybe there could have been a, hey, you know what, would it make sense if we just go ahead and do this off season and go ahead and get somebody in place now?
Well, I like
and Barry might have been the one saying like, we might want to push this up.
I like the question. I don't know who asked it about to Haslam. Like, what if you get a GM in here and he says, we need to blow this up?
Adam asked that question.
Was that Adam? Okay.
Yeah.
We need to blow this up. We'll play that because I thought that's a really good question, because now you don't know what you want to do with the new GM comes in. If he wants to blow it up, are you going to let him blow it up and then rebuild, or who knows? Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look, it is a debate as old as time of, does a full-on rebuild work?
Yeah.
The Buffalo Sabres have been rebuilding for damn near 20 years.
The Blackhawks are about 9 or 10 now, right?
The Cleveland Browns. I mean, I know they've made the playoffs, but I mean, they feel like they're constantly starting over with quarterbacks,
right?
And stuff like that. And so, I think it's real easy to talk about. It's real easy to do it on paper, and it's real easy to sit and play video games and do it on a video game and, rebuild in a year.
It is. Can we play it after the break? Is that, I just really thought.
Play now. Go ahead. Play now.
Okay.
This franchise has never undergone what is considered the true definition of a rebuild, which would require, among other things, multiple seasons without making the playoffs. How open are you to doing that if the new GM comes in and decides that's what's best for the organization?
So I'll answer that this way. The GM we hire is going to be responsible for deciding, here's what kind of hockey we want to play. Okay. And then their job is going to be to drive that all the way through the organization. I don't know enough to decide what kind of hockey we're going to play. And then that person is going to have to decide, do I like what we have? Can we build from here? Do we need to, to look at the assets we have? They need to make that decision. We're going to hire somebody again that's strong enough to A, determine direction, and then B, when we decide on that direction, make sure we vertically integrated it all the way from here to how we draft, to how we develop people, to how we're playing in Milwaukee, the whole deal. But that'll be something that they decide. We're obviously in a position right now, as Barry started out, like, hey, we'd love to throw out November. If so, we'd be right you'd look at us as one of the best, 10 teams in the league. Unfortunately, they don't let you throw months away. But I like this team. I like how they're playing. And we have some great hockey players. I like the way they play together. Our fans, I think, are enjoying it. So to say that we're going to scrap all this and totally start over, I don't think is going to be the right approach.
There you go. There's your
Can
answer.
you imagine Jerry Jones sitting up there trying to, I know all about hockey. You imagine him sitting up there. Thank God Haslam says, look, I got people around me who know more than me, which is a great answer.
I hope someone maybe south of here heard that, because she might want to listen to how an owner answers a question like that.
So
answers questions in particular.
I took from it, hell no.
Yeah.
No,
Isn't that
we're going to fight every day.
look, I'm not throwing shade here, but like, isn't that refreshing to hear an owner sit up there with people when important decisions are announced?
Absolutely does.
Yeah. And I get it. He's a former governor. Like, he's, speaking publicly he could do that in his sleep. But like, I watched that today and I'm like, that's how it's done.
Exactly. And don't think that you know more than everybody else when you
Sure.
don't, because we know that you don't.
I've
And that's
heard,
fine.
I've heard Nick Saban say this before, but one of the best pieces of advice I ever got is know what you don't know. And, there's a
Mhm.
lot of stuff I don't know, and I rely on people that do know.
Right.
So
I heard a great Nick Saban quote the other day, which doesn't apply here, but he kicked a guy off the football team at Kent State or early on, or Toledo, wherever he was. And the girlfriend asked Saban, why did you found him? Like, why'd you do that? He goes, I fire coaches making $1 million a year. You think I'm not going to fire his ass about the player? I said, that's so great. And it's like, it's accountability.
Yep.
It's accountability.
Yep. 615-737-1025. More on this coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game.
Barry came to you about this, right? This was not you coming to him about
No,
this.
he came to me and said, listen, at the end of this contract, I'm done. And then we had a back and forth that was literally 30 days long about, okay, well, then when do we want to announce this and when do we want to start a search? And he agreed that once you know, let's just go ahead and put a plan together.
And that's
But
why
no, this is not us pushing Barry out. He came to us and said, I want to end.
So was today, like, were you expecting it to be during these conversations you were having with him? Did you expect that today would be the day?
Well,
that
we've
this-
been working, there's never a great time to announce something, right?
Right.
Because it is in the middle of the season. On the other hand, we didn't want to wait till May 15th for all the reasons we said. So there wasn't a great time. You got road trips you got to plan around. We had the storm and after effects. So we've been trying to figure out the right day and landed on this as the best. But there wasn't going to be a great day to do it.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. That was Bill Haslam with our own Adam Vingan, kind of giving a little more insight to the timeline and
So
why this all came to be.
maybe this would have been announced last week? Now,
Yeah, maybe. I
or
don't know.
2 weeks ago. I mean, I feel a little bit, Hey, look, I get if Trotz is going to step down. I get it now. I mean, to get somebody in here to work with them, hire somebody, put it together, and boom, go with that. Instead of, because when I first got this report this morning at 8:45 or so, when you had texted me, I thought Barry was done, like walking, like clearing his office out today and being gone.
No.
So once I heard the press conference and heard everything, I'm okay with it now. I'm okay because he's going to help transition to the next one. You got a new owner. You're bringing Saban in to help out. It's good. I was just this morning, I thought, all right, he's walking away today and he's gone, which is not the case. So all this kind of makes a little bit more sense now to a very curious bystander.
There's a couple of things too that I want to say. And again, I know a lot of you listening are day ones. You remember the announcement from Governor Bredesen at the time or Mayor Bredesen at the time that we're getting a hockey team. You remember, David Poyle getting hired. You remember Barry Trotz getting hired. You remember the uniform unveiling. I mean, you've been there since day one and through the rally and all that stuff. And so you've lived it all. And then there's some people, and again, great, that came on board 2017, that came on board in the last few years, moving to town, that, aren't as familiar about the history or whatever. And all you know is Barry Trotz, the GM. You don't know Barry Trotz, the coach.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's important to know some of that because I go back to any and every accolade that Barry has gotten from this franchise he deserves. He's the winningest coach in franchise history. No, there's not a Stanley Cup banner, but he won through some tough times, and that is expansion years that aren't like they are now. The team being sold and potentially moved to Hamilton and Ontario. He coached through all that. Won playoff series, and then goes on and wins a Stanley Cup elsewhere. After it was kind of decided, hey, maybe it's time. He knows what maybe it's time looks like. He's seen it. So I say all that to say, everyone that's like, he hasn't done anything, why is he being praised? I think you have to look at the whole picture because he has done a lot for this organization.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the general manager tenure hasn't gone the way he had hoped for it to, or everybody else had hoped for it to. I think it's incomplete. I don't think the full picture is complete. I think he's learned some lessons the hard way, but I think you have to look at everything that he's done for the organization. So it's important to say that. And the other thing is, as I said earlier, I think also now is a great opportunity to go outside the family, and they need to go outside the family. No disrespect meant to, Brian Poyle, Jeff Kelty, or Scott Nickel. I don't think either of those guys, I think if they're general managers one day, fantastic. They should. They've worked hard. I don't think they should be the next general manager of the Predators. And that's nothing against those people.
Right.
It's just, it's time to go find some fresh ideas.
It is. And real quick, I had somebody asked me and said, he's stepping down. He'll coach again. He made it very clear, right?
He's not coaching again.
He's not.
No, that is an incorrect statement. Incorrect.
No. My friend's like,
No, he's
so
not
he's like,
coaching.
oh, he's going to coach again sometime.
No, that's incorrect.
No.
I think he's done.
Well, I don't think they're trying to be factual. I'm just like, they're like, he's going to go coach
No, I
again.
know. I believe him when he says he's done.
Yeah.
I think this is family. Like, he truly needs to be with his family and wants to be with his family. So I don't ever see him
Right.
coaching again.
No,
I
I'm with
could
you,
be
man.
wrong, but I think he's done. I think this is truly, he's ready to retire and enjoy everything that comes with that.
I
So-
am 100% with you on that.
No, I was just being funny. Just
Yeah,
being
you
incorrect.
stop. You stop and get over there. They come and tickle you a little bit
Yeah.
over there, man.
To fight you.
No, I just, again, when you get out and it's like, this was not anybody's plate. I know if you told me last night this is going to happen, I'm like, no, there's no way.
Yeah. No,
There's no way.
look, I did not have this on my bingo card.
So let me ask you this question. How we talk about the Titans and the head coach was Saleh, it's only one of 32. How appealing is being a general manager for this franchise now?
Oh, I think it's appealing. I mean, I think it's very appealing because you're in Nashville, which is still the it city. You got you do have some young prospects that you can build around, and you have some veterans that are still on your team that I think have value, whether to build here or to send elsewhere.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a very appealing job. I mean, and here's the other thing. There are some people that want to be like, we're one of the worst teams in the league and it's not getting any better. You're a few points out of the playoffs.
That's right.
I mean, you are in the hunt. Now, is everything perfect? No. There's some things that just hasn't worked the way that he thought they would.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be a lot worse. You could be, 40 points out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
20 points out of the playoffs.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
You're
it
not.
is.
So, I think that's important too.
Well, I was just curious because if you are an assistant GM, I don't know, that the one with the Red Wings sounds good that you brought up earlier that Greg Wyshynski told you about. I mean, they've turned it around, right? I mean, that's having a good year. The Red Wings are. So, all right, what have you guys done up there? You turned it around. You've been kind of non-existent for the last 10 years or so. I mean, that could be somebody to come in here and get the opportunity to run that. What are you doing and all that? So it's good. We talked earlier about Haslam saying, all right, I got people around me who know what's going on more than me, and they'll be part of this. I'll be part of this too as well. So I think it's good going forward.
Robbie Stanley tweeted, full credit to Bill Haslam. He's taking questions and answering them openly, which has not happened with owners around here very much. Good to see.
Robbie.
I think it's just one in particular.
Right.
So, and unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to change, but we'll see.
Now, did she say anything last week when Saleh was?
She was there. I don't think she did. A
She did the
statement or-
photo op, but I don't
Yeah.
remember anything else being said about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you could.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heated, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. More coming. John McClain at 2:00 as well. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
Barry, with what you just said there about wanting to set up the next GM for success, how does that inform your approach to the trade deadline next month?
Well, right now, we've got some time here till the trade deadline. These are very important games. I mean, we just finished a really important trip, last 3 games. I mean, the guys are been wonderful digging out of a big hole. It was a tough week for the team last week, for instance. Guys are on their phones. Most of the wives and families are in hotels or had no heat and stuff like that. And you see the guys that always on the phone trying to get a generator like everybody else hooked up to their house and that. So it's hard when your family's going through that and you're on the road and you're trying to help your family and stay focused. You have to be focused to win in this league. Execution and focus is everything, or you get hurt or you lose. Those are the 2 things that are just common when your focus is not there. So we're going to focus on where we are now and focus on, my job is quite honestly and transparent when asked, where are we? And I said, I've got to listen to everything. We're not in the playoffs right now. So I've got to listen to everything. I owe that to both the gentleman next to me and our fan base and anybody who is a fan of the Predators. I have to look at everything, and I'm going to look at it from a now, and I'm going to look at it from a futures. So everything's on the table.
There was Barry Trotz at the press conference this afternoon in regards to the trade deadline, which is coming up. There's going to be a roster freeze starting on Wednesday. I know freeze is not a word that a lot of people around here want to hear right now, but,
Right, Chase.
but
What are you doing, man?
that'll be for the Olympic break, and then trades will really heat up, I believe, after the Olympics are over. But just kind of reiterating, if you're just joining, Barry Trotz has announced he's going to retire as general manager, but he's staying on until the successor is found, which will, Bill Haslam said, hopefully before the draft they'll have somebody in place. And then the new era kind of begins. And so that, is obviously the big story of the day. But Barry Trotz is going to be running things through the trade deadline.
When is that?
Early March, like a month.
So take us to the timeline now. There's a game tonight versus the Blues.
Yep.
There's a game Wednesday.
And Thursday, and then they're off until the 26th.
Or is that home game Thursday?
That is in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Then they're off till because of the Olympic break.
26.
Okay.
Yep.
And then come back, and then it's almost probably every day of a game.
Yep. So they'll have about 3 weeks off of games.
Okay.
Obviously, some of the guys are going and playing in the Olympics.
4 of them.
Yep.
Forsberg, Yossi, Hala, and Saros.
Yep.
And you say I don't know damn thing about hockey.
Well, you don't, but, but you knew that.
I don't. Look, I take this publicly. I'm a fan, right? I got you, I got Adam, I got Willie, I got Robbie. You guys I'm a fan. I never bought season tickets to the Titans. I bought season tickets to the Predators, right? So I like being a fan for once, right? And seeing this friend. I love the Preds. I love the hockey game. So I'm not on the inside, but I still want this team to go all the way every year. It's the first really professional team that I rooted for. I mean, I love football and baseball and basketball, all the other stuff, but this is the Preds, man. It's special to me.
I'm with you. So that's kind of where things sit with them.
So damn it, I'm the fan voice.
You are.
Day one, STH.
Fat Hog in Murfreesboro says, we as true Preds fans love Barry and his family. I worked 39 years at the same place, and I put my work above my family. May God bless him for making the right decision. We'll always love him.
Well said.
There you go. So look, as for who's it going to be and the names and stuff, I mean, all that'll be out there at some point. I got to do my research because, to be honest with you, I haven't had to research, up and coming GMs or GM candidates in the National Hockey League because there's been 2 of them. So,
right.
And there's never been a search. This is the first time since 1997 that they have truly searched for a general manager.
Right. And you get to do that. Dr. Crane was on the GM search in football. And remember that one day you said, hey, this Rand Carthon guy, he's got something.
Didn't
Was that
say
you?
No, that was not me. No, that was somebody else.
Sorry. And then so we stopped letting you pick the GMs.
That was not me, including a 10-foot pole. I did not touch that at all.
Oh, my bad, man. Probably one of the Dustin from Bellevue or whoever, Alex from Nolensville, whoever it is, one of those guys.
Yeah.
How you doing over
I'm
there?
good. How are you?
Good to see you. It's just this was so unexpected. Like
I know.
It's like Super Bowl week and some things lined up, but this is very important.
Well,
Very important.
I'm getting full transparency. I'm getting ready for work and everything this morning, and my phone rings, and it's about 8:30.
Right.
And I see it's somebody from the Preds, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll call him right back. I'm about to get in the car and all this stuff. Well, then I get a text from the same person that says, hey, call me. And I'm like, uh-oh, that can't be good. And so I, call them right back, and they tell me like, hey, and I think they had just sent out an advisory for the press conference, and Elliot had just put his tweet out and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, this is not what I had on my bingo card today.
No, not at all. You think last night they were going to do the press conference at noon today? You think last night?
No, I don't know. Oh, did they know?
Yeah.
Something
tells me no.
Probably not. I mean, I kind of got
Probably
that.
not.
I kind of got that vibe from the press conference that, they had been talking and knew this was going to happen, but it was,
Right.
But I don't know. But again, it goes back to, and he even, Bill Haslam and or Barry Trotz even said, you guys talking about reporters are very good at your job. Well, something got out.
Thank you, Barry.
I think.
Yeah. He's talking about us.
Yeah, of course. Well, he knows we're.
Yeah, he said
We're
those
awesome.
guys. And it was kind of the mic went out for a little bit. And he's like, those guys at noon to 3 over on 102.5.
Chasing Big Joe.
Yeah. His mic went silent for a little bit. But it came back after that.
1880 says, with this opening, what are some opportunities or changes the new GM can make to the franchise? Well,
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, do you keep some of the core members that are here, that are under contract long term, or do you try and move those guys? Which, if you're trying to move those guys, that means you're going the way of a rebuild. But
can you get rid of Saros's contract? I just think that, to me,
yes, but it's going to be hard. And I think he's got trade
okay.
That's the other thing. Like Yossi, Forsberg, I think a lot of the main guys have trade protection of some sort, and so you have to get that.
Okay.
So, Dustin in Hopkinsville, reporters aren't good at their job. Someone has loose lips, my guy. Okay.
Right.
Just telling you what they said.
Look,
and I think there are some very good reporters in this town.
People talk.
Yeah.
There are
That
no
also-
secrets. People talk.
And people that listen are good at their jobs because they listen.
Yes.
People that want to talk all the time and hope you listen to them aren't good at their job.
No, you are correct on that. You know who's good at their job?
John McClain.
That's right.
And he's going to join us coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 3, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Monday. We say hello now to John McClain, who joins us every Monday at this time. John, how you doing?
I couldn't be better, guys. I'm not so fired up about Super Bowl week, which is one of the reasons I don't go to Super Bowl anymore. But I am excited about the game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. Before we get to that, I know you have something you wanted to bring up to our listeners, a documentary that you've been working on that premiered Friday and that premiered Friday and is about to be available to the public.
It is, and we worked on it for 16 months. It's about the old Prairie View Interscholastic League, the all-black organization in Texas that was independent, the all-white university interscholastic league, and it's about high school football in Texas before integration. And it's a fascinating story. And we finally had a big premiere here Friday night. There were 379 celebrities, former players, people in the documentary. Media came up. We couldn't have asked for it to be any better. We're still working on distribution, but starting on Monday, day after the Super Bowl, you can go on maddogentertainment.tv and get it. Name of our production company is Mad Dog Production, but we hired a company and they put it on there for Mad Dog, MADDOG, entertainment.tv starting this time next week. And we think it's fascinating. It's powerful. It's about a lot of great football players, and among the Hall of Famers that are in it, Mean Joe Green, Kenny Houston, Emmett Thomas. Those are 3 who are alive. Current Hall of Famers like Warren Moon and Robert Brazile came to support us. It was a great night, and we hope we're still one of the reasons you have a premiere is to work on after you get feedback on it. So we got feedback. So the director, Mark Burns, is now editing before it comes out on Monday. And I appreciate you guys letting me plug it.
Absolutely. And looking forward to checking that out. What did you think about Robert Saleh's introductory press conference as he now is officially the head coach of the Titans?
I thought it was good. I'm glad Robert got another chance. I don't think you can hold it against people who get fired by the Jets. The Jets, Woody Johnson runs the show up there. He hires the GM. He hires the coach. And they have failed a lot because he is so active in what he does. Now, everybody I know thought Saleh got fired prematurely. Never had a quarterback. He'll have a quarterback there. I like the fact that he's going to call his own defense. Robert's a great talker. And he started at the bottom with the Texans under Dom Capers, the first head coach in franchise history. He came here in 2004. He stayed 5 years under Gary Kubiak. He worked with some coaches like Kyle Shanahan here, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, Troy Calhoun, head coach of the Air Force. Mike Sherman was head coach at Texas A&M. I'm sure I'm leaving out one or two, but he learned under them, and that's where he got his foundation. And then when Kyle Shanahan, of course, was hired by the 49ers in 2017, Robert was one of the first coaches he reached out to. One of the first Robert reached out to was D'Amico Ryans, who was out of the NFL in his first year working at his volunteering at his high school in Alabama. Still lived here after his 10-year career to see if he'd be interested in joining the band. Coming in quality control, D'Amico went out, met with Robert and Kyle, took the job. The rest is history. They had a great staff. So Saleh has learned from a lot of really good people. He was in Seattle under Pete Carroll. So he's got a foundation. And I thought he's always going to win the press conference. But I thought getting Brian Daboll to be the offensive coordinator, Brian did a really good job with the Patriots, the Bills, University of Alabama. There's a guy, if you think about who he's worked for, like Saban and Belichick. Not a lot can say they worked with both. And people forget, and obviously, Dayball wants to come in there, call plays, do a good job, and have a chance to be a head coach again. You know, that first year, they had a winning record. They won a playoff game. And then it all fell apart. And a lot of it had to do with injuries to Daniel Jones. But a lot of people interviewed him and were interested. And I thought it was great that he went with Saleh. And I thought one of the funniest things I've seen was the thing the Titans put out, Robert calling ticket holders. And that guy he talked to didn't know who he was, even though he introduced himself. This is Robert Saleh. And then when the guy was talking about he liked the new head coach and some of the stuff he was saying, and Robert goes, well, so whatever his name was, say it was Big Joe. Well, Big Joe, do you know who you're talking to? Well, I don't. I'm sorry. Well, this is Robert Saleh. It was like one of those, this is your life. And then they brought out a person who'd been your teacher in junior high, and it was a great call. And that shows what kind of personality he is. And he's a great family man. He's got like 28 kids. I don't know. They have frames big enough to get his whole family in there. He has so many kids. So, you know, he's a great family man. His wife has done a tremendous job helping raise those kids because a coach that doesn't have an assistant coach, well, a head coach too, who has a family, I don't think people fully appreciate what the wives go through taking care of everything. And obviously he's a good family man. I think he's good for the Titans. I like some of the other moves he's making. I think he did a good job dealing with the media in Santa Clara when he had to talk once a week. And then considering what he went up against in New York, the New York, New Jersey media, the most and the toughest in the league, I thought he handled himself really well. And I think now, of course, doesn't matter how much you like the way he talks or the way he acts or anything. It's what the results will be on the field. And I think it's not fair to expect right away, oh, we're going to be like the Patriots. You know, that's rare. And the Jags. Jags had a lot of pieces in place. But what you want to see next season is improvement. You want to see him at least double the number of victories in a division that's going to be tougher than we thought it would be going into this past season, because it looks like Houston and Jacksonville will be good again. If Daniel Jones can get healthy and stay healthy, the Colts should be formidable. And then, of course, the Titans want to be the most improved team in the division like the Jaguars were last year.
John, let's expand on Brian Daboll for a second. Remember last year, the Giants had this trade package and plan in place to go up and get Cam Ward. They're going to give all these different draft choices and all this, and Daboll was behind that. What does it mean now that he's come to Nashville, who's probably the hottest OC out there? What does it mean that he chose to come here and be an OC, work with Cam Ward under Robert Saleh? They don't have much of a connection together, but the fact that Titans got Daboll to come here, I think, John, says a lot about Robert Saleh.
It does. It also says a lot about Mike McClain, Chad Branker, and Amy Adams Strunk. You know, if they were worried about getting blown out in 2 years, they wouldn't have come there. And I think McClain's the one that people have told me, going back to once they got to know him last year, how impressed they are with him, the way he operates, what he knows. And it looks like he's on the ball. And it looks like he's made good moves. For Daboll to be able to coach a quarterback that he likes so much, it's kind of like a dream come true for him, because if Cam Ward is what he thought he would be when he was coming out of Miami, this is a great opportunity for him to revitalize his career as an offensive coach who can be a head coach again. It's amazing how coaches get second chances. Not many general managers do. You'll see some get a third chance, and they all want it. And I know some people out there, which I think is preposterous, say you don't want a defensive head coach because if your offense does great, you're going to lose your coordinator. Well, that's pretty stupid. It means you've done well. And if you hire right and you have a good quarterback coach, good passing game coordinator, because now they can have staffs with 35 coaches, you should have somebody who's ready to step up and take over. That's how Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan do it. They lose coaches every year, Baltimore loses coaches, and they usually have somebody ready to step up on the staff, or like somebody who's been on the staff and gone somewhere else, and you bring them back. And that's just part of being a successful organization. And maybe Mike Begonzi can make that happen there.
Yeah, John, I know you're close with Gary Kubiak and his family. His son getting be the head coach of the Raiders. I'm curious, who made that call? Did Tom Brady, you think, stepped in and had a lot to do with that, or surely Mark Davis leaned on Tom Brady for a big decision like this?
Mark Davis signed off on it, and Mark Davis is paying former coaches like $50 million. Money's not an issue with him. And one of the reasons he wanted Brady, gave him a sweetheart deal, is because of how much he respects him. John Spytek, their general manager, who runs the show, because Brady's not there. Brady's working for Fox. He's got a soccer team he goes to in the one level below the Premier League in Birmingham, England. And so he's split in different directions. He can always keep a hand in it, and he can watch tape. Spytek was with the Broncos and Gary Kubiak when they won Super Bowl 50. And then Spytek, of course, was with the Buccaneers when Brady won his Super Bowl. And by all intents and purposes, he's going to be like Mike Begonzi. He's going to give them some stability in the front office and the coaching staff. Clint Kubiak could have gone to Arizona. Truth is, he might have been able to go to Buffalo if he'd wanted to, but Buffalo didn't fire McDermott early enough to get him on his Zoom interview. And if you don't interview him on Zoom first, you don't get a second one until after the Super Bowl. And they didn't want to wait around. They wanted to promote Joe Brady. I was hoping Clint, who's 38, Gary's oldest son, would go to Las Vegas because he's going to get to work with Fernando Mendoza, who I think is now standing candidate. And I talked to Gary this morning. I talked to him about, going to he and his wife going to the Super Bowl. Their son Clay, their middle son, is the offensive coordinator of the 49ers. And if the favorite Seahawks win, Gary and Clint Kubiak will be the first father-sons to win Super Bowls. Kyle Shanahan went, but he didn't win one. Mike Shanahan won one. So they got a chance to beat the Shanahans, who Gary, who knows him very well since he's a little kid working for Mike Shanahan in Denver. So as much as I like Vrabel, if Vrabel wins, I'll be happy with it. But I really, really would like to see the Kubiaks have a chance to do something as a father-son combination nobody in history has done.
Is this the real quick before we go to the break? Is this the first time that there have been two sets of brothers as head coaches in the NFL?
Oh gosh, I'd have to think of that
You
one.
got the Harbaughs, obviously,
Yeah,
and then now the LaFleurs.
I would have to think of that one right off. You caught me off guard. It couldn't happen very much, and I don't know if it's the first time. It might be, and can't wait to see how it comes out.
All right, we'll have more with John McClain coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Back here, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 the game here on this Monday. Continue with John McClain. Almost said 102.5 the good.
Yeah,
I read the word good. We are good. We continue with John McClain now down in Houston. John, I'm going to kind of leave this open-ended and let you answer it however you can answer it. But this stuff with Bill Belichick not being elected into the Hall of Fame, what can you say about that?
Well, first of all, there's 50 of us on the committee, and 80% have to vote for somebody. So 39 of us could have voted for Belichick and 11 not for Belichick. And it might not be a vote against Belichick. It could be that you think that two seniors and Robert Kraft were more deserving. You could, as one voter wrote who did not vote for Belichick, I voted for the three seniors. They changed the rules on us 2 years ago. It used to be we had two seniors, one coach, one contributor, and after we did our discussions, we voted yes or no. And we almost always rubber stamped those votes because we knew, the big 50-man committee, what the subcommittees had done and how hard the work they'd done to give their nominees. And then they changed it, three seniors, one coach, one contributor, but we could only vote for three. And if you didn't get 80% of the vote, the highest vote getter was the only one to get in. Last year, of those five, only receiver Sterling Sharp made it. None of us liked that rule change. We want to vote yes or no like we used to. But the bottom line is Belichick should be in. Hall tells us you vote for the best candidates. And it's obvious Bill Belichick was the best candidate. I thought it was funny, of all the negative stuff we got, people saying abolish our committee, we're too old, we're out of touch. The thing that bothered me the most was people that are clueless, nincompoops, saying we did it because we didn't like Belichick because he was surly with us or he was mean. And my response to that is 95% of the committee never dealt with him. Three of them on the committee covered in New England and one in Cleveland. And if we held it against every candidate who was surly and rude to us, it wouldn't be half of the Hall of Fame. And so give us a break. You know, we've done this. Of some of our most vocal critics, I wanted to say, Troy, you know we voted you in, right? Most of the same on the committee. And it's funny, when somebody gets in, nobody says, oh, man, the committee did a great job. And they never will, and that's fine. We don't need thanks. I tell people we're like the Musketeers, all for one, one for all. Even if 11 go one way, 39 go another, we're all tarnished together. We are together. And I hope Robert Kraft makes it, because he's about to go to his 11th Super Bowl. And I thought Belichick was a lock. We don't know who's in. We'll find out Thursday night like everybody else. And I can tell you, it leaked out from Belichick's people, because early last week, the Hall called each of the finalists who did not make it and told them. Well, they didn't tell them who else didn't make it. They didn't tell them who did make it. They just told them about them. So there's no way it could have leaked out from anybody else, whether it was Bill or one of his people close to him. And I can't imagine Belichick would have wasted that time doing that. And so that's how it all happened. Hopefully he'll get in next year. Yes, it's wrong. He should be in. But people are not going to be penalized for the way they voted. And I'll put out a lease. What the Hall is upset about is whoever leaked to ESPN some things that were said in our meeting. They tell us every year, you vote for the guys who you believe are the best, and you do not tell anybody what is said in our meeting. And somebody did to ESPN, and that's what they're upset about. But there's no way they can prove it, because if they could, then they kick off whoever did it. But there's no way they're ever going to find out. And I don't know why somebody would do that. It's an incredible honor to be on the Hall of Fame selection committee. I have presented 9 players who've gotten in there, 7 Houston Oilers, 1 Dallas Cowboy, and 1 Houston Texan. It is an enormous responsibility and an unbelievable honor. And why would you be such a scumbag that you would leak and make somebody or more than one look bad in our meeting for what reason? And I have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And thanks for that clarification on the process. And this, I guess you mentioned he could get in next year, which in Brady up next year too. So that could be interesting.
No, Brady's in when J.J. White comes up. They got another couple of years.
Okay.
You got to be out 5 years.
John, do you have to, sometimes 1 year baseball elected nobody to the Hall of Fame. Is there a minimum that the NFL has to put in the Hall of Fame each year?
Yeah, we have a minimum of 3. And I've always thought there's people who are on the all-decade teams who've never even been finalists to be discussed. There's seniors who've fallen through the cracks for whatever reason. And then if they're finalists like this year, it's defensive end L.C. Greenwood, running back Roger Craig, and quarterback Ken Anderson. And if they don't make it, there's a good chance they'll fall back into what we call the swamp and disappear. And if they come back as a finalist, it'll be years. So a lot of them are dead by the time they get to be finalists again. So I can understand people wanting to vote for them because of timing, but the instructions are you vote for the best. And if you're going to vote for the best, you have to vote for Belichick. I thought Brady, when he was being critical of the committee, he said, if there's a Super Bowl, I have one coach that I want coaching that Super Bowl, and that's Bill Belichick. And I was wishing the guy interviewing Brady would have said, well, what if you're not his quarterback?
Yeah, right.
John, clarify this for me. The voters are not just writers. Like there are some Hall of Famers on the committee too. Yes.
Absolutely. There's
Okay.
50 of us. I've been on the committee 33 years. I've been on the senior committee 17. I'm on the contributors committee the last 2, so I can speak for Bud Adams. And we've had the 4 Hall of Famers are Dan Fouts, James Lofton, Bill Polian, and Tony Dungy. We have some broadcasters. When I first got on it, it was all writers. And I see people say, I remember one former player tweeted, the writers got him, talking about Belichick. And I wanted to say, do your homework, but I didn't. I said, by the way, there's 4 Hall of Famers on the committee, broadcasters, and yes, there are still writers.
John, Bud Adams, do you think in the next 2, 5, 10 years, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know you've advocated for him for the last few years.
I have advocated for Bud, and I would say his chances of getting the Hall of Fame are minuscule because of the way it's set up and of one contributor a year, and there's a lot of people in that competition with Bud. He's made it to the finalists the last 2 years, which given me time to talk about him and tell people on the subcommittee things they never knew about Bud from the early years of the AFL, including the way the AFL was formed by Bud and Lamar Hunt, even though Bud never gets any credit for it. And I tell him, but it hadn't been enough to have him as the one senior committee contributors nominee like Robert Kraft. I hope Kraft gets in. That's some competition to get out of the way.
John, is there one player that I don't say breaks your heart, but you think needs to be in the Hall of Fame that probably won't get there that you think should be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I'm not going to say he won't get in there because I've seen guys go through 20 years of modern eligibility. So that's 25 years after their career ends. And then they finally get in as a senior nominee. And there's a player, people ask me, who is somebody that you believe is the most deserving? And I say the left tackle of the Washington Redskins, Joe Jacoby. He won 3 Super Bowl rings playing the toughest position on the offensive line for one of the most famous offensive lines in football history, the Hogs. The only other one we put in was guard Russ Graham. I don't know why we put him in over Jacoby, but Joe Jacoby, he played in 4, and then at the end of his career, he moved to right tackle after they traded for Jim Lachey, who couldn't play right tackle. So they asked Jacoby if he would do it, and he's not in the Hall of Fame, and he is very, very deserving. Another one, Jim Tyre, one of the greatest offensive linemen in history. After his career, he shot his wife and himself. And the family of his wife have come to believe that it was CTE, and they believe he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a finalist. Our bylaws say you cannot consider anything that happened away from football. That happened away from football, but there's no way you cannot Think about it. And I think Jim Tyre is another one who deserves to be. And if he had not done that, he would be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, there's another name you didn't say that I thought you might, and that's Ed Too Tall Jones.
Well, Too Tall, it's interesting. I've gotten to know Too Tall pretty well, Gridiron Legends of Texas. And I talked to him. We were at a golf tournament a couple of months ago just about his candidacy. And I said, why don't you get some people you played against and have them lobby for you? He said, I don't do that. He said, I write letters for other people, but I don't do anything to bring attention to myself. I said, well, you should, because all these credentials, and we were talking about things like forced fumbles and fumbles recovered, and moving from one side, the open end, to get sacks to the other, because Tom Landry said, we need you on the other side, taking on double teams. And so he never got as many sacks as he could have. But Too Tall is one of those guys. As a senior, I feel strongly that at some point he's going to get in. But the problem is the Cowboys have so many, like Jason Witten is eligible first time. Great tight end. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Darren Woodson, their great safety, 3 Super Bowl rings, best player in their safety. He can't get in. And it's not because people don't think they deserve it. They just think there's others that deserve it at the time. And I don't really have a former Oiler who I can take up the case as a senior. I've been trying to do Bud. But if I were doing that, I would take up the case of Ed Jones, just like I did with Chuck Alley.
John, now you got me looking at Joe Jacoby. I mean, the guy was undrafted, spent 13 years in the National Football League. He's the only lineman, well, him and Bill Fralick, on the All-80s team that's not in the Hall of Fame. This is a damn shame. I'm glad you brought this up, John.
Yes, it is a damn shame, and maybe someday he'll get it. I don't know why. It's not a lack of recognition, because that was a team that, if you look at every Hall of Fame coach, they all had a great quarterback except one, Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. None of them is a candidate for the Hall of Fame. If you look at it like that, Joe Gibbs may be the greatest coach ever. So he had a line, the Hogs, who could run, block, and pass protect. And we have certain offensive lines who have 2 in there. So a couple have 3 offensive linemen, and the Hogs have 1, which is preposterous.
Very interesting stuff for sure. John, appreciate it as always. Who wins on Sunday?
I'm going with Seattle. I love Mike Vrabel. I'd be happy if he won, but I'm for Clint Kubiak and Gary Kubiak becoming the first father-son combination to both win Super Bowl rings.
Yep, I tend to be with you on that one. John, we'll talk next week. Thank you.
Jason, Joe, thank you guys very much.
Absolutely. John McClain joining us down in Houston and joins every Monday at 2 o'clock. We'll react to some of that and also the big news of the day with Barry Trotz. Do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game here on this Monday. I was not expecting a yeah or whatever that is.
Yeah, what is that?
It's music, Joe.
I can grunt. Why don't you play some of my stuff?
That's what she said.
Oh, zing, bing, bing,
Hey-o.
bing, bing.
Appreciate John McClain for joining us on the program. If Bud Adams finally gets in the Hall of Fame, does that mean Amy Adams-Strunk will speak?
Well, according to John, I don't think Bud's getting in the Hall of Fame.
I don't. Yeah.
Do you think he belongs
Yes, I do.
in the Hall of Fame?
I think.
Then why is he
I
not
think too
in?
many times. Sometimes it is black and white, like it's very clear, and sometimes it isn't. I don't. I've heard John give the explanation of, can you tell the story of the NFL without Bud Adams? And the answer to that question is no, you can't, because I get that his teams have never won, but he was an integral part in the formation of the American Football League and then subsequently the merger. That
Merger's a big deal.
Led to today's NFL,
Yep.
and every key player in that is in the Hall of Fame except for him. And I think it's
So why?
because he moved the team.
I just don't think
I
he
think
was
a
well
lot-
liked amongst the owners.
Well, that and I think that, I mean, you look at Art Modell. People don't like Art Modell because he moved the team. People don't like the Ursays.
Is Modell in the Hall of Fame? Probably
is he?
should look, but I'm too
Is he?
lazy. I just friends that I have live in Houston.
Was it Ursay Senior that moved him in the middle of the night from Boston? So it wasn't
Bob?
It wasn't Jim Ursay.
Was not.
Okay.
In the middle of the night. My friends in Houston all, and I don't like to use this word a lot, hate
Art Modell is not in the Hall of Fame.
Bud Adams. They hate Bud Adams. And will always
Yeah,
hate Bud Adams.
Sure. I mean, I have family down in Houston that hates him. So I mean, I get it, but again, you can't. To me, you have to separate, feelings like that, and you have to look at the big picture of, can you tell the story of the National Football League without Bud Adams? And I think the answer to that question is no.
Yeah. I mean, I think
It can't simply be based on, the Oilers Titans have never won anything.
no, not at all.
I mean, there's some owners that you can say that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the qualification for them. But I think for him, there's more to it.
Did all the original AFL owners have won a Super Bowl? Hunt, Georgia Frontier, Spano, whoever won the Chargers didn't.
Yeah,
They've never-
Spanos did. Georgia Frontier.
She owned the Rams.
They weren't the AFL though.
She got, how did she traded the Rams? She got the Rams some weird way.
Oh, I don't know. Georgia front. I'll just look you keep bringing this up, and I'll just start looking. She was more.
It's like she in a divorce settlement or something, if I recall.
Right, but what does that have to do with the AFL?
I don't know. I thought she was like had the Chargers and swapped the Chargers, or some. There's a weird kind of shift of ownership that was with her, or like her husband at the time.
She was married a lot. Oh, wait, hang on. She also performed at a nightclub as a senior in Miami, where she met Baltimore Colts owner Carol Rosenblum, who was separated from his first wife at a party hosted by Joseph Kennedy at Palm Beach Estate in 1957.
All right, here we go.
Kennedy was an admirer of Frontier. Rosenblum and Frontier were engaged in 1960, but it took Rosenblum 10 years to divorce his first wife. Rosenblum and Frontier were married in 1966. In 1972, Rosenblum traded ownership of the Baltimore Colts for ownership of the Los Angeles Rams. During this time, the couple resided in Bel Air, California, and Frontier became a part of the LA social scene, hosting numerous parties and philanthropic, whatever.
Philanthropic. There you
Thank
go, buddy.
Events. Frontier was also known to entertain guests. So that's what you're talking about. But those weren't.
Okay,
AFL.
my bad. My
That was
bad.
NFL.
All right, yeah. So 10 years, huh?
Gotta love
Any day
Wikipedia.
now, honey. Any day now. Can you imagine? I mean, just swapping ownerships. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Hey, I'll take the Colts. You take the Rams. Boom. There you
And
go.
then she moved them back. She moved them to Missouri because she was like from there, right?
Something, yeah, like in the
Yeah.
early 90s.
Yeah, she was born in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So she moved them back, and then
So maybe I should go be like a lounge singer somewhere, and then
then you'll own a team.
meet a estranged widow / soon to be divorcee, and I could run the I'd hire you. I'd give you a job. And Dr. Crane, I'd hire you guys.
There's a Sports Illustrated cover of her that says Madam Ram gets her man. Eliona, Georgia Frontier, and quarterback
Joe Namath.
Nope.
Oh no.
Nope.
Hold
You'll
on.
never. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is.
Oh, it's not Pat Hayden, not Vince Ferragamo. I don't know.
I'll show you the picture.
Okay. Is that Burt Jones?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, he was a Colt. Baltimore Colt for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Good times.
Yeah. So there you go. Coming up next, we will wrap things up with what day is it and celebrity birthdays. It's Chasing Big Joe on a Monday, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Monday. The show has flown by. Couple of programming notes. Sean Henry is going to join DVD to start off their show to talk more about today's news. Barry Trotz announcing his retirement and what all that means. Elliot Friedman, who broke the story, will join after that around 3:20. So they'll have a lot of reaction to that. And, oh, by the way, the Preds play tonight, too. So,
They do play tonight.
Max Hers will have pregame for you at 6 o'clock as they are at Bridgestone Arena.
They are St. Louis Blues.
I'm glad. I was literally about to look. I don't even know who they're playing tonight. That's where I'm at.
The Blues.
With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
Right as we start, my computer has died, but that's okay. I have a backup plan. It's on my phone. We're good to go. All right. First of all, we have Candlemas Day. So I guess you celebrate candles. 2FA Day. I guess that's something on a computer. I'm not too sure. California Kiwi Fruit Day.
Love that.
Crepe Day is today. So if you like crepes.
What about creeps?
I don't like creeps. Groundhog Day is today. A lot of people creep on a groundhog. Groundhog. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. Groundhog Job Shadow Day is today. Heavenly Hash Day. Excuse me. Hedgehog Day is today. Lung Leaving Day. It's mine every day. Marmot Day is today. Looks like a groundhog shaved. National Change Your Windshield Wipers Day. So, we're around that season. Sled Dog Day, Self-Renewal Day. And to wrap it up with the last two, we have World Ukulele Day and World Tater Tot Day.
World Tater Tot Day. Where can you get some good tater tots here, Dr. Crane?
I don't know. You should find out somewhere. I don't have a good list of them.
Okay.
I don't do free shout outs.
All right. Time for celebrity birthdays. Get these within two. Chase, you go first. How old is former Detroit Lion football coach Wayne Fonts?
I'm going to say Wayne Fonts is 90.
77.
86. By the way, the best font, Times New Roman. Dr. Crane, former Redskins defensive tackle Dexter Manley, who won a bunch of Super Bowls.
69.
74.
68. Dr. Crane's on the board, 1-0. Chaser, how old is former Twins pitcher who beat the Braves in the World Series, Scott Erickson?
64.
58.
58 exactly. Dr. Crane, how old is former Arizona sharpshooter Sean Elliott? Played in NBA for a while.
67.
52.
58. Chaser, former Indianapolis Colts tight end Ken Dilger.
61.
64.
55. I'm going to default here for a second because this is Chase's favorite show. Brent Spiner, birthday today.
Lieutenant Commander Data of the USS Enterprise is 75.
73.
77. Chaser's on the board. All right, Dr. Crane. Christy Brinkley, supermodel, used to be married to Billy Joel.
59.
I'm going to say 62.
72. Chaser, your favorite artist, Shakira. How old is Shakira today?
Hips don't lie, man.
Hips don't lie. Mine do, though.
Shakira is 46.
51.
She is 49. 4-1. All right, here we go. Rapid fire now. Chaser, how old is Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
And Young.
And Young. They don't like him, though.
I know. 81.
77.
84. Dr. Crane, Howard Bellamy of the Bellamy Brothers.
81.
83.
80. Dr. Crane's up 5-1. Chaser, how old is Ross Valerie, bass player from Journey?
72.
77.
77. All right. Did you look at, you.
I am
71. Okay.
triple tasking back here. I promise you.
How old is actor Michael Talbot Switek from Miami Vice? Dr. Crane?
66.
70.
71. 72. Chaser, how old is rapper T-Mo from the Goody Mob?
52.
55.
54. Dr. Crane's up 8-2. You. Dr. Crane, how old is steel guitar player Jesse Seibenberg from Lucas Nelson's band?
73.
72.
He's 50. Let's get one more in here to see what's going on here. Chaser, how old is bass player Robert DeLeo of Stone Temple Pilots?
56.
59.
60. Dr. Crane gets it 9. You've never gotten that high before. And
That's what. What
I
he
don't
said?
know what
She
you did in
said?
college. But nice job, Dr. Crane, 9-2. If there's
Depends
anybody
on what
left,
state you're in.
I'd give you another shot to get over Tim, but it's not fair because I've never heard any of these people. So,
Doesn't mean he had.
Exactly.
All right, okay, all right.
He's not wrong.
All right, actor Kim Zimmer from Guiding Light.
71.
71 exactly. Holy hell. 11, and we're not stopping here. One more. How about Michael T. Weiss from The Pretender?
Can I get?
Yeah, go ahead.
71. Michael T. Guys from the Pretenders.
Yeah,
81.
84.
64. Comedian, all right, Chase. Comedian Adam Ferrara from Rescue Me, the TV show.
Wasn't he on the Man Show?
Is Adam Carolla?
Oh,
This
no,
is Ferrara.
56.
72.
60. One more. Chase, you get to go here. Actress Lori Beth Denberg from the Steve Harvey Show.
And all that. She was on the show. All that.
Maybe. I trust you.
39.
44.
50. And that's all right.
Wow.
11. Look at you, man.
Well done.
New
Dr.
week,
Crane.
new you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Well
I think it was
done.
the cord that shocked me in my yard. I think that's why I got a little extra jolt to myself today.
What are you doing with the cord in your yard?
Well, I have a down power line, so I accidentally touched it, and yeah,
now, why
Shocked
would
a
you
little
do
bit?
that?
I was trying to fix my power line.
Don't they tell you to stay away from that?
Well, NES isn't doing it, so he had to.
Oh!
I said what I
From the
said.
top rope.
My mom's been without power for a freaking week. Get off your ass, stop your damn statements and timelines, and fix the stuff.
Top rope.
And then the CEO needs to get her ass fired. All right. With that,
Wow.
DVD is coming out. You heard me.
I didn't hear
DVD is coming up next.
Hey, as we leave every show, we talk about our guys out there. If you're going through some things, remember on your cell phone, you can dial and talk to somebody or text 988 immediately. We have the avenues on our website as well. If you're going through anything, listen, if you're struggling, I need you to go to therapy, right? I need you to go one time. Just go one time, open up. You'll rediscover gratitude. You'll find a deeper relationship with God. And I'm telling you, it works. So, no, you're doing a great job. I'm telling you, you're doing a great job. A lot of people smile and they think about you. Please remember that. Know that we love you. More importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. And the lines workers, y'all are doing a great job. It's not y'all that I'm mad at. It's your bosses. Y'all suck. We'll see you tomorrow.